If you haven't seen part 1, go and check it out so you actually get to see how they got to how they are. But anyway, keep watching this one and you'll get to see fiberglass, body filler and finishing them off. So we're about to start wrapping. So I'm not actually fleecing, I'm using a speaker grill cloth. So it's going to be nice thin at least, because I really don't want anything thick around the on those sides, around those edges. It's kind of as big as it can be, so I'm trying to keep it as thin as possible around the edges. So using this will be nice and thin, and then I can just pack on fiberglass where I want. The first one wrapped. So as you can see there, staples there are keeping this bit flat, because I want this flat, and it angles down to the flat. Obviously I'll body fill over those, so that's alright, they're there. That's a shadow in there that you're seeing. And that curves down there, and that's a flat edge because that's under the handle. That's on like a 45 all the way around the bottom and everything. There I've stapled it actually on the top there, just because I wanted that in a little, because that's kind of where it sits up against the dash. Cool, just got the rings there so you can see what it looks like. But that's the rough outline. So again, I'm keeping them very flat, very kind of shapeless as much as possible, because again, that's what I'm working with, a flat shapeless door. So why make big curves? So the way I do this is I lay down cardboard on my bench, and then I just put them on, they're just the caps off spray paint cans, just little legs for them, lifts them up off the bench so they don't stick down. But alright then, let's get some glass on it. So there's not much I can do now but let them set. Cool. So it's just a light coat on them to make that hard, and then from there, obviously once that's just stiff enough, I can go and do a real coat with some actual glass on it. Very thin, this. As I said, this is purely just to give that first initial shape to it, and now I'll obviously put some proper fiberglass on top of that, but at least now it's hard. So what I'll do now is I will cut these out. I don't need to glass on them. It's just going to get thicker and thicker and make it worse to cut. Cut out the holes, trimmed off all the excess, and cool. Now I've got my glass all cut up in sheets, small sheets, big sheets, just kind of random little pieces I had. So there's a layer of glass, really thick layer should I say as well. Most of it's near double, a lot of it's overlapping. Sanded, so after that first layer of fiberglass I've given a quick sand, just to even down the flat spots, or the high spots should I say, make it a bit flatter. Cut it all, made it nice and clean. So now I'm going to put that style of fiberglass over the whole thing, over all the edges, packing it on around the sides a bit more, but yeah, over the whole thing. That's going to give us a final amount of strength. I mean, it's already quite strong, but give us that too, and it's going to be real strong. Yeah, this layer is awesome. It looks a lot neater after you do it. There's all blobs in the middle there, I know that, but as far as the actual finish, you can already tell. I mean, once I clean up all the crap everywhere, she will look nice. And I've trimmed it all. Just rough trim, but I actually use a knife just to cut all that away. And all the crap around the edges, just overhang. So now we're just going to give it a quick sand with the disc there. I think it's 80 grit on it. Here we have them two done, sanded with the 80 grit, like is the actual glass itself sanded. That is the worst bit of the entire job, because you get covered in, even though I cover myself in powder and I wear gloves and everything and dust masks, you still get covered in fucking fiberglass. If you don't get the picture now, yeah, something's wrong with you. There we are on the door. So yeah, there's that little gap around the edge, like 5mm gap. That's obviously allowing for carpet thickness, and should line up perfectly with that vinyl. Other than that, handle's sitting pretty good. It's probably a little close just there, so I'll just have to sand that down a little. Otherwise, I wanted just a bit of a gap, obviously, for carpet. That's a little close for me. But yeah, otherwise, very happy with that. She fits up tight with the door. Courtesy lights will be sitting here. Obviously, seat sits here, so I couldn't come out any further. So after a layer of body filler that has fiberglass in it, and now that's been sanded, we have that finish. So everything's predominantly smooth. It's just obviously fine crack, like the rough surface, but the overall surface is smooth. So now I'm going to go over that with Raids Gold. So there's that one. After a good sand on it, as you can see there, it's pretty smooth there, because again that's a flat bit. And then here, it's not, I haven't sanded as hard yet, but anyway, and then there's this one I've just literally finished spreading the body filler. I'm pretty much done with this whole area on them both. These sides, this flat area. Anywhere there's a circle, I need to add body filler. So that one's pretty good. This one needs a lot more. There's a lot of spots I'm not happy with. Now at the same time, I'm actually building my 4th order for my jackaroo for the new sub. So I was resining, so I decided I had a bit over, so I did the back of the pods just to watertight them. As I said, they are on a door, so these should be pretty damn watertight now. So I've made 4 grills. My voice is a little bad, I'm a little sick, but anyway, there's 4 grills rings. Now I'm going to be doing 2 brown and 2 beige, because I'm not sure which ones are going to look better. But it also gives the option to the owner of the car. Here's the 2 brown, painted brown now. So I've painted both inside and top brown. A few coats of just brown paint. So just going to give it that different tinge underneath, so you don't see that light colour. And although I haven't actually wrapped the pods yet, there's a beige one and there's a brown one with the brown painted on the inside. Now you can't see the MDF. And same with that one. I mean, you can see a slight line in that, but again, the MDF is actually almost the same colour as it, so there's no point painting it something. So, and then there's just one of each sitting next to each other there. So, point being is he can choose what he likes better. So we'll see how it looks when I put the carpet on. Alright guys, and that's it. They are ready for carpet. I've cleaned up all the holes. The only thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to give this inner bit a quick coat of that light brown paint, or that brown paint, just so you don't see like the MDF through it again, so you just see the darker in there. So quick coat of that, of the brown paint on that wood. Let that set, and then we'll find a wrap. Carpet wrap. We are wrapping. This is the 2nd one. So I've just sprayed the carpet, and I've sprayed this part. So it's now just about ready. Obviously sprayed the other side of it, so we're ready to wrap now. I'm literally just pushing this whole thing around it. A few slits on the corners, but it's pretty easy to wrap. This carpet's not bad. It is stretchy at least. And then I'm just running a bead of staples pretty much around the edges of it, just to keep it together, just for longevity. The glue will hold it for now, but the staples will hold it, a lot longer. I'm just about to mount to the door. I've mounted my light in here now. Now these lights in the they're out of a HQ Statesman. In the Statesman, there's 2 like a metal, I guess you'd say like a bullet on each side. It must have clicked in to the metal. Obviously this is not like that. So I will show you how I mounted them. It's very basic, but it's going to be safe. It's going to keep them in there at least. But I've hooked them up to 12 volt power now, just on the floor here. They light up together, obviously. That's all they are, just a positive and negative. So we'll power them up. So as you can see, they're actually a bulb in there, not an LED. They're a full-on bulb because they're old school. And if you look at them, they're like a. I hope the camera kind of shows it. It's like a dirty, like an old light bulb yellow, not a white light. And same with the red, it's very dim, which is exactly what I wanted. It looks old, which is, the whole car's old. The whole point of this panel is that although it's custom, it looks old. So that's awesome. That's how I wanted that to look. So that's cool. The panels are very blank because the entire car is very simple, very blank. It's just a base model Corona wagon. Is I have there's these little plastic tabs there. I cut a little notch out of them and wedged that metal in on each side, and then added the screws here. And then these screws here actually screw into the plastic housing on the bulbs, on the sides of the terminals, obviously, not actually into the bulb. So they're actually screwed into the light, but it also as a backup, they're hooked in as well. Very simple, just some tail strap that I've cut, but it also keeps it nice and thin, low profile. Now I'm going to have to end the video there, but there's one of them mounted to the door. There's no point doing any more because I haven't tinted the windows yet. I'm going to get them done, and I'm not mounting everything to the door, speakers, etc. Until that's done, because when they tint windows they hose them down. I don't want everything getting wet, so that's as far as that's going. that's one mounted, so you get the idea. So it's extremely tight fit, but it does fit. And that's it there. So I've still got to put the handles on, I've still got to put the electric switch on there for the electric windows, etc. So, but the point is, the video is the pods. The pods are finished. And yeah, so that's how they look on the door. Alright, so I've only put about 5 screws into it at the moment, which is holding it pretty much how I want it. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, no, that's all I can do for right now. But the door shuts, that's all that matters. Hey, the pods are built, and that's how they look. So cool. Anyway guys, stay tuned for the next part of the build. The tweeters are done as well, as you know. If you haven't seen them, go check that build out. Now the speaker pods are done, and I haven't even got an amp for them yet in here. So again, there's no point putting the speakers in. But next part, we'll be building the boot, which means the sub box as well.